Okay, I want to start with a little story about a memory that I have from a high school senior English class. We were required to do a book report, and at the time, I lived with my mom, obviously. I was a teenager, and she was an avid reader. She used to bring home books without really asking me what I liked, what genre I liked, or whatever. So at the time, it happened to be Stephen King books, and I was reading Firestarter. So that's the book I chose for my report. And read the book, saw the movie, figured I was an expert on this book report. So I show up to class, and as she's calling people up to take their turn, that fear and anxiety started to build, and I realized I was kind of nervous and probably didn't prepare. So I went with it anyway. She calls me up there, and total fear and panic took over. It was just terror. So I blocked the whole room out. I don't remember much of anything, just that I started rambling on and on. I told the middle of the story before I explained the beginning, and I think I repeated the end of the book a couple times, and then she spoke up and she said, "Kathy, now you've been talking for 7 minutes. Are you about done?" And I just was devastated on the inside. I don't know how I looked on the outside, but I took my book and literally ran back to my seat, and I hope people just forgot about me and never talked to me again. But so I haven't read a Stephen King novel in 30 years, and thanks to my mom and her modeling reading, I continue to read, and I love to read. So I want to talk to you today about some of the benefits that we do get from reading just for pleasure. It's an affordable pastime, and it can be actually free, as we know. It actually builds our mental stamina. It helps us to relax, and it reduces stress, of course. And it's also been known to reduce symptoms of dementia, which can kind of pave the way for a sense of long-term well-being over a lifespan. So most of us would probably agree that taking care of our physical body takes effort. We have to exercise, we have to rest, we have to eat a clean, balanced diet, and I wonder if we pay as much attention to our brain health and how important that is. Mental stamina is kind of like our brain strength and endurance, and it's what we need to kind of focus on a difficult task and stay on track. And according to an article from Livestrong.com, mental stamina can actually be improved with practice, and one of the ways is by reading. And as we read and increase the length of time that we read, and actually include books that are maybe a little out of our comfort zone, then the brain improves the endurance, and that helps to stimulate creativity, and it actually builds our vocabulary. And according to Literary Solutions, this increase of mental stamina actually helps us to stay focused. It helps us to improve our attention span. So it sounds like work, but the body doesn't really see it as work. As the brain is kind of learning, the body is relaxing and stress kind of decreases. And usually when we're reading, we're quiet. Our body's still, our mind and body's relaxed. Our heart rate kind of slows and our muscles relax. As we escape to other places and worlds, we we leave work and stress of life behind, and that's that. Sorry. So relaxing with a good book and leaving the world behind for an hour kind of sounds like a temporary reward. But there's so much research in the last several years that actually does show that there are some really good long-term benefits from reading just for pleasure. Reading is a brain exercise, and that may slow degeneration. There's a study done in a journal at neurology.org that says that frequent cognitive activity, like reading, can actually decrease the loss of your cognitive ability late in life. Stanford University also suggests that reading increases blood flow to certain areas of the brain that affect memory and alertness. So as far as long-term well-being, readers are more likely to exercise. They're more likely to be involved in volunteer work. They visit museums, and they actually vote and stay up on current events. This kind of takes the focus off self and improves the sense of well-being. Those research facts are from the National Endowment for the Arts. Reading nurtures empathy for people in real life, which gives us a sense of connection to community. In conclusion, we all have been taught that reading is fundamental, but it's good to know about the great benefits that we can get from just reading for pleasure, and helps us to stay plugged into good reading. And it encourages us to include brain health in our overall maintenance of our physical self and well-being. Any questions? Rick?
You said something about reading and dementia. So if you read a lot, could that reverse the dementia?
Research kind of shows that it doesn't reverse dementia once it's already set in, the degeneration of the brain, and that's like memory loss, and we all kind of probably know someone who has a little bit of dementia. You lose your car, stuff like that, but the research shows that it kind of holds it off a little bit longer and keeps it from kind of increasing, at a faster rate. Any other questions?
It's kind of along the same lines, but I wondered, you said about circulation being improved to parts of the brain, and I know that, I wondered if it could help stroke areas,
It's possible. Those in the medical field kind of know, and a lot of people know that wherever there's blood flow, then there's good health because there's nutrients, the neurotransmitters are getting fed, and blood flow is what we need for survival. And it's possible. I know there's a lot of research about they'll do testing for a few hundred people, and as they're doing different tests, they do MRIs and different brain studies to see the activity in the different part of the brain. So I'm sure it's probably possible. The trick is just to read, and I think most of the research is more when you read for life. Like there was something I came across about young people who got involved with the vampire books, and there's been a few different series that have come out, and then they wait for the next book so many months. That kind of doesn't count. Like you have to kind of read daily, and kind of step up your genre. Like if you're only reading romance novels, then maybe go to the next step where there's a harder vocabulary and a bigger plot in that sense. So, okay, now we'll do the critique session.
Okay, so now that we've heard the speech, we can talk about what the speaker did well.
You can sit. She's probably
Okay. I thought Kathy did the speech very well. It was very informative. Answered the questions with clarity and knowledge. It was an interesting topic as the population is aging and more dementia is occurring.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I thought she gave me a good answer about the strokes, because since I've had them, it was good to know that there's tents that would improve those areas that were affected by the strokes. So. And also, I thought she was very organized, and it was clear the way she presented the ideas about pleasure reading. So, since I love to do that was good to know.
Keeping good eye contact too with the crowd, that was good. So now we can maybe critique a little bit. Is there anything you think the speaker could have done better?
Very informative. Just keep up the good work.
Anyone else?
How about you?
No, I thought you did very well. I thought you stayed focused, kept eye contact, kept everyone's interest. That was well done.
Thank you. I think that's it.
The end.
Yeah, the